Welcome back to the City of Palms podcast. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. If you're not subscribing, if you haven't subscribed yet, then go fuck yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But hey, we all gotta do these things. Nah. So how you doing, bro? I'm chilling. I'ma just say, man, I'm chilling, and I'm glad that I don't know. It's cool to see where we are today. Like, I still haven't got my hair cut, so that's not that cool. But that should be changing soon. I'm hoping. But like, honestly, I keep thinking, is it too soon yet? Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get a fade, but
What do you
how
think?
soon is too soon to go to Ace of Fades? I don't know. I think, me personally, with the precautions they're taking, it's probably the best bet, you know? Like I was telling you, I didn't really talk about it too much on the podcast, but with all this, like, I mean, with anything really, even if this wasn't going on, but with this especially, you gotta just take risks sometimes, and don't be wildin', but like, I think we've come to the point where I don't know. It's like, what are we gonna do? Grow our hair out forever?
Right?
Not me. You're like, right? You haven't got your hair cut in like 8 years. You're like, right? That's pretty much what I do.
Pretty much. But no, yeah, you're right. You gotta like accept the risk at a point, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know if every barbershop is doing this, but like Ace of Fades, from what I've seen, they're taking pretty good precautions. Like I think I was telling you a little bit about it. They're wearing like masks. The barbers are wearing masks and gloves, and you gotta like wait in your car before you're ready to go.
Yeah, they don't have the lobby open.
Because they're sanitizing equipment before before and after the appointments. So, yep. We're filming this at midnight, for anyone wondering. So,
And I've been working all day.
this is a nighttime podcast. Yep.
I've
I've been working all week, but I mean, yeah, you literally just got off, so that's like crazy. But yeah, I'm
How's it
excited
been back to work since the break?
It's been good. I'm excited to have, the weekend off, but it's been good. It feels really good to be back at work. It definitely feels like the right thing to do. Like, it just feels good. Applying myself. I really want to buy a house too, and like doing what I do for work. It's got me excited to buy a house and just like, remodel it and stuff. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, word. Yeah, so like, for anyone wondering, for anyone listening, watching, and wondering kind of what I'm talking about when I mean, like, what I'm saying when I said, like, I'm excited for things to be back at normal is because, yeah, I am back at work, and, yeah, I guess.
You kind of have a new routine going?
Huh?
You kind of have a new routine going?
What do you mean?
Like, you're getting your routine back now that you're back at work?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because that was the hardest part through all of this, is like losing a routine, and
Yeah, for sure. And it has been even a little harder because we've been working outside, so we started an hour earlier. So yeah, that was a little tough. I was having to wake up like,
yeah, you were
like
sleeping
5.
in, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. During quarantine, I was sleeping in, but yeah, now like for work, I'm having to wake up at like 5:45.
Mhm.
And get on the road at like 6:30. But yeah, no, it's been good though. Like, yeah, I found my routine back, and just the other day, like I've had no energy every day after work since I started. And for anyone wondering, I'm on 2 weeks back now. This was just my second week that I did, and so I've had no energy just working out in the sun all day, like moving bricks and laying brick and stuff. I've had like no energy. And so typically I'd like go skate after work or go to the gym or whatever. The gyms are closed, so that's that. And then, yeah, I just had no energy to skate. But just the other day, yesterday actually, I went to Veterans, and it was good. It was good. I went, so that was like my first time, like, making that adjustment of like going, as I'm like tired from work, from like working in the sun all day
Mm-hmm.
since quarantine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that it felt good to be that. That's when I was like, oh, I'm back in my element, like back in the routine, because that's when I was like knew I was like really pushing my body like how I used to. Because it's crazy when you really think about it. Like my quarantine lasted like basically quarantine for like 2 months, and I was still exercising quite often, honestly, but could never really match what I did, because like typically before all this, like just when everything was open and you didn't have to worry about like all this crazy shit, like I would just work construction and then get off, probably go skate, and then go to the gym, or definitely one of those. I would definitely try for both. There was like so many days I did both, and that's just that. Yeah, like after working 8 hours, and then it's like then to take the break and then start working again. I could only like work 8 hours, and then I'd like get home and pass out, and it took
Mm-hmm.
like building up that resilience again from working and stuff to like show my body who's boss. But that's what it's about, man. Conquer that inner bitch. Tell it to
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah, I feel that. Were people wearing masks and stuff at the skate park?
No, nobody was. That's honestly why I left early too yesterday, because at first it was chill when I got there, and I was just chilling. I was skating, and then there just got to be too many kids and too like not even skaters. You know how veterans is. It's just all these little kids, and so they're just running around. Their parents aren't even caring. There wasn't too many, but there was like probably like 5 or 6, and then on top of like there was still like all these skaters showing up. I was the only one for a minute, and then like everyone just started showing up. I'm like, geez. So I left. I ended up just leaving. I was only there for like a half hour, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Yep. Better safe than sorry. But man, I do have a story from being back at work. So like I said, we've been laying block, and so that's like we're laying this like basically like housing type thing, whatever. So we're in like this big sand lot thing, and like what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You seen the sand
Yeah,
lot?
yeah.
No, it's
I know
like
what you're talking about.
yeah, yeah. Just like a sand lot, right? Like a big house thing, empty lot, bit like fat, like sugar sand all in it, right? So we laid the brick wall, which I don't know if we can put pictures in. I have pictures on my phone. Maybe I can send them to you. We can show all the viewers. But we laid this brick wall, and it's like this big. It's like a square minus one line, so it's like a square with like 3 lines. You feel me?
Yeah.
A square with an opening, we'll call it. And
Okay.
so and so we had to build this tie beam on top and build this little thing on top. Have this concrete guy come pump concrete in. Okay. Anyway, so those big old concrete trucks with the big spinner thing up top.
Yeah.
So that thing had to back up in there with his concrete in. As we had another guy there with this, like he had this diesel truck and he had this little concrete pump, and he was like the pumper. So the concrete truck poured the concrete into this guy's pump machine, and then this guy's big hose he pumped the concrete into our wall. You feel me?
Yeah.
All right, so get this. Uh, all right, so when we get there, concrete pump guy is already there, and then he's waiting on the concrete truck guy. Concrete truck guy gets there, he pulls in, gets stuck, gets his big old concrete truck stuck in that thing, and then so the concrete guy with the guy with the concrete pump was like, okay, I'm just gonna back up. But he's like, but my 4-wheel drive's broken in my truck. I was like, oh, you're fucked anyway. And he's like, I'll just back up like 10 feet until I get to the thing. He goes to back up, boom, starts spinning. He's stuck. I'm like, no shit. So then we have to shovel out the freaking cement truck, bro. This 8x8, like 10 tire fucking truck. I'm like, what the hell? And we're like using shovels and getting it. And then it's funny too because the driver stepped out of the thing, and he was wearing a hard hat, and there was just like not a building in sight. I'm like, how the fuck would you need a hard hat, dumbass? So I'm like trying to shovel this fucking thing out, and you know like the big like ramp that comes off the back of the concrete truck. Bro, I whacked my head on that so hard. Dude, there was, I don't know if y'all can see, but there was a huge bump, dude, on my head. There still is. Dude, that's like a hematoma bump.
Like,
And
why
that
would you
shit
need a hard
smacked
hat?
it. Yeah, immediately I was like, oh, that's why you need a hard hat. And then he even said something too. He was like, oh, that you hit your hard hat or something. I'm just like, yeah, fuck off. That shit hurt though, dude. I tried to play it off like it was nothing. Like, dad was like, "Oh, are you all right?" I'm like, "Ah, fuck." Like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. But like, honestly, dude, my vision was like, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "I think I'm good." It was so crazy. It was crazy for real though.
Man, on my end,
Yeah,
dude,
that was tough.
I've been, I see the grocery stores and I see the general public and how they're kind of taking things and seeing more and more people wearing masks now to the point where it looks weird if you're not wearing a mask. Basically, every single person is. And some stores are actually requiring customers to wear masks. Have you been to a store like that yet?
No, I heard about Costco, doing that and maybe some other stores.
Yeah, but anyways, but I've been outside Aldi. I've been helping December Instacart here and there, and the other day I was it gets so stuffy underneath the mask. Like I don't know how much you've been out and about in the mask, and I don't know if it's just my allergies or what. But while I'm wearing them, I get like super stuffed up, and once I like do a whole big shopping trip, it gets kind of hard to manage, and I'm always like on the verge of sneezing, So I will go to the bathroom like once every stop at a store, so I can like wash myself up. You know what I'm saying? And like just kind of like refresh, take off the mask, like wash my hands, and like do all that, and then put it back on, and like be good to go for the rest of the trip. And so whenever I do that, I usually go to these handicap stalls, because they have the sink and all that with the toilet. So I have to like go to the bathroom or whatever. I can just have the sink there so I can take the mask off and like wash up in private.
Mhm.
And so the other day I went in there and um and then I closed the door, and whenever there's like super loud people in the bathroom and like it kind of makes you uncomfortable how much you can hear them. This dude comes in, and I'm like in the middle of my like refresher, you know what I'm saying? And dude walks in, he's being super loud, and for some reason my mind starts going to whenever you can hear someone leave a stall and you never hear them turn on the sink or anything, so you're like, oh, he left without washing his hands, gross. You know how you can just hear that happen.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was for some reason thinking like, what if this dude doesn't know that there's a sink in here and that I just washed my hands? So if I leave, he's gonna think that I left without washing my hands. And then I'm like, so what? So if he says something, because he seems kind of loud, if he says something to me, what am I gonna say back? Because like I did wash my hands. So I was trying to think of like something clever that I could say if he was trying to call me out for some reason. And then so I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, if he says this, what should I say? And then while I'm thinking, he gets done before me, and he gets out of the stall, and he leaves the bathroom, and he doesn't wash his hands. And I'm just like, bro, especially with everything going on, I've seen some nasty stuff, bro. Like I've been trying to take every precaution, and like anytime I like leave without a mask because I like forget it in the car, I turn right back around. I'm like, fuck it, I don't care how long the walk is. Like I gotta get my mask because like I'm just trying to take precautions. And some of these people were just carrying on as usual. There was a dude in Aldi, no mask. On top of that, he had nothing on, no protective equipment on at all. And then he's eating, like while he's shopping, he's like eating like donuts out of a package.
Wow.
And I'm just like, bro, like that usually grosses me out whenever people are like shopping while they're like eating their groceries and stuff. I'm just like, bro, just hold on a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait till you get to the car. And
For real.
but this dude was doing that during all of this, and I was like, bro, we have to like clean these shelves 3 times a day, and like everyone's wearing gloves and masks right now, and you're not only are you not wearing any of that, but you're eating like with your bare hands,
Right.
eating stuff. I'm like, because they're just like they just don't care. There was actually a dude that was walking by me because at work I'm wearing my mask every day and like gloves when I'm at the register, and I'll usually like wear my beanie on to like just secure my whole like mask to my face better. And so I was like had that look on while I was out on the sales floor, and I was like loading up waters or something, and this dude walks past me and he's like, "Oh, you're," what did he say? He said something like, "Well, you're taking every step, or you're going all out," or something like that. And I was just like, "Yep." And I like kept doing my job, and then he wasn't wearing anything. He was just like bare, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I've had so many diseases. I'm not really worried about this one." And I looked at him and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not wearing this because I'm like worried about me. It's because I'm worried about everyone else, you know? Like I don't want to spread if I have it, you know what I'm saying?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he thought, and he's like, "Yeah, well, my family, like they're all like they're grown and here and there." And like he talked about his family being not around, and I was like, okay, like I don't know. I just feel like
Do you ever wonder why people do that? Like, I always wonder. I don't know. Sometimes I have random interactions with people, and I'm like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that guy's like, yeah, telling you about his family.
mhm,
And it's like, cool, dude. I will never see you again.
yeah.
I've never seen you prior to this. So, what's the story, guy?
Especially because
You
I
ever
was
wonder?
like disagreeing with him. Like he thought that because he was trying to say like, "Oh, it's no big deal. Like it's gonna pass over just like everything does." And I was disagreeing with him, but then he was like just talking friendly, like telling me his whole story, and I was like, "You don't get what I'm saying."
Dude, I
Like
think
some
that's a
people don't get it. Like I
Lehigh
could
guy in a
be
nutshell.
like, not only am I at risk of getting things from everyone because of my position and my job, um, but if I do have it and I'm asymptomatic and I'm not, I'm not showing any signs of it, I could be spreading it to anyone who gets any like anything from me, you know? I think some people
That's
don't
true.
get that. Like I'm not like we don't wear the masks at work because like we're all scared of catching something. It's more because like we just don't want to be exchanging things, you know what I mean? That's why I think everyone
Yeah.
should wear a mask.
No, man. Yeah, yeah, man. Some people are wild about this shit. Like, some people are actually like stupid. You know what I mean?
Straight
Like,
up.
it's just like no common sense, and you're like to the point where the news has to make, or someone has to come out and say like, okay, just like, I don't know, like whatever, like social I don't know, say something, and it's just like these people don't get it. These people are like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Fuck, I bumped the camera. Oh well.
Is it almost time for
Um.
break? Have we been going about 20 minutes?
Uh.
I think we've been going like 18 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Take a quick break.
Yep. Yep. We could take a quick break real quick.
All right, we're going to show you one ad, and then we'll be right back for the next half. The City of Palms podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show onto all the apps people use? How do I make money from the podcast? And the answer to all this is really simple: Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Me and Danny searched all over the internet for different outlets for distributing and recording, and for websites that would host our podcast, and a lot of them you have to pay money, or it's really complicated, and especially for someone just starting out. And Anchor really was an answer to all that, because you can record straight on Anchor. It's very user friendly, and it's totally free. We don't have to pay a penny to use this, and so it's great for anyone who's wanting to start out. And so if you're wanting to start your own podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the City of Palms podcast. I hope you enjoyed that ad. If you didn't, it's okay. Um, anyway, all right. So, man, okay. So I was thinking. All right. So I got an iPhone 11, and that's that new shit for anyone listening.
Yep.
Uh, who doesn't quite know. Um, and I've never really had a phone quite like it, honestly, because I've always been behind. Like I went straight from an iPhone 6 to an iPhone 11, and that was a jump in
Whoa.
generations. Like I zoomed past kids, and it's been crazy. It's been a learning experience, dude. And like for instance, my phone, like I was just charging it, and when we were on the podcast, like we started at 11:30, and I just plugged my phone in, and it said scheduled to finish charging by 4 in the morning, and I think it does that because it knows that like I wake up at 5:45 typically, and so that like it wants to, you know what I mean, or at least because if it finished early, because you know what I mean? Because if it finished early and then it's sitting on the charger, I think that's bad for a phone.
Yeah.
If it's like, you know what I mean? So, and so like, so I think, you know, the newer the phone, it comes out with like this smart optimizing charging system. How they're like, okay, this is an overnight charge. We're going to like optimize this charge so it takes like longer, but it's like better. So that's just kind of crazy. I was like thinking about that, and I was like, okay, that's crazy. And I think that segues into what I wanted to talk about today, and that's that I'm truly convinced. I am, dude. I'm truly convinced. At first it was just a thought, and now I seem to be truly convinced that our phones are not listening to us. Well, yes, they're listening to us, but our phones are connected to us.
Yeah.
Like I think we literally are almost like cyborgs, dude. Like if you think about it, like androids. Because okay, let me back up. So like I was telling you, dude. Like if you ask me a question, I can like what's the state of this, or a big math equation, I can find out the answer within like 10 seconds, you know? Just like Google. We can Google anything. So we have answers at our fingertips. That's already like some mega mind shit. And then what the phone does as far as like suggestions, bro, like you'll think it. And I've put it to the test. Like it's come further and further how like at first it's like you just see an ad that like you thought you talked about with your friend, and so you're like telling someone like, yo, this is weird, like I got an ad for something that I never searched, but like we just talked about it, and then you're like, yeah, that's crazy, and then like you don't do anything, and you're just like, that's crazy, and then it's like, and then what I've noticed now is like, dude, I think it. I don't search it. I don't tell nobody. I don't text with anybody about it.
No way.
I think it, and then it's popping up on my phone, and I'm like, why? And it's like it goes back to like I was telling you, I was either telling you or Bree, like it's like when you hang out with a friend, you know, you hang out with a friend every day or whatever, you start to pick up on their lingo, you know, and like you start to act like them or just do these little things that they do, and it's like our phone, bro. It's like our phone is becoming one of us. Think about if there were freaking what's it called? Neurons? Is that a thing?
That's a science word, yeah.
That's a science word. That means neurons. Is that like tiny wires?
Yeah.
Okay, so say there's neurons coming from your hand that would connect to your phone. You know what I mean? That like when your phone's in your hand, think about how many minutes per day, hours per day your phone is in your hand, swiping, touching, clicking. And think about if the back of your hand, case or no case on your phone, if it was just connected, it was like a plant getting water. It was like a charging source. It was like every time, and it was like, okay, here's more info, and it just started filling information, because now it's like to the point where when you get a phone, you could buy a brand new phone, and and within 5-10 minutes you could have everything logged in. It would know your name, your phone numbers, your contacts from past phones, friends, their birthdays, you know what I mean, their phone numbers, where they live, their email addresses. Like, it's just like, geez, dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And yeah, bro. And I think about that all the time when it comes to like what your phone is picking up on at all times, like how much data it has of you. You know, not only when it comes to accounts and like logins and stuff like that it has just saved in like the cloud, but just like the data it picks up. Because you got to think the things that you say out loud that are uh, worthy of like some sort of ad being thrown at you, you know, like if you're talking about wanting to get a pool or something like that, and then it starts suggesting like all these pool toys and your freaking Amazon suggestions, and you're wondering like it must have been listening to us because it was, you know, and it's like logging all that information and using it to advertise to you, and it makes you think that means it always is hearing us, and it's always picking things up, and it's always hearing the sorts of things we talk about, and it makes you wonder like what all that information could be used for. You know what I
And
mean?
also, who's listening? Because like, the phone isn't alive itself. So,
Recording, it's like it's because you know like voice to text, it's listening to what you're saying and then typing it out.
but how does it have a memory? How would it have a big enough memory to front, oh, here's an iPhone with 64 gigabytes of memory, but then how would it, and then you have this, say you have 50 gigabytes of music and podcasting and stuff like that, how would it know all this other stuff that is just, it's not even like memory, but it's just like in your system bank, like your Google drives and all the
It'd be
stuff in
like
that.
it wouldn't be like it. I imagine like in my scenario, I'm imagining it's like I don't imagine it recording everything you ever say and storing it, but like as things are said out loud, like the audio it picks up, it can pick up trends. Like if it like hears you talking like the word dog, 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 you're talking about dogs. Like it like picking up on trends like that just based on the audio it hears, it can like pick up for here and there and advertise to you. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, that makes
And also
sense.
I
I
feel like
mean,
it's
yeah.
more complex than any of us can even imagine as far as the
Yeah.
algorithms and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true. And well, yeah. Well, dude, what's really fucked is Elon Musk was saying it's gonna get to a point where we don't, like, technology will get to a point where we no longer have to, like, when I see you in person, there will no longer be a thought to communication. Like I won't have to think anymore to speak with you. I'll just like think one thing and you will instantly know. There will be no communication, you know what I mean? There will be no verbal communication. It'll just be all like you will be on the same vibrate, like, frequency vibration thing, and like when I'm thinking, like, if I approach you and think, "How's it going, Brian? What a nice day," or, "Oh, his mustache is kind of fucked up," you'll be like, "Yo, fuck you then, dude. It was actually a cool day." Like, you know? So it's like, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird to think about. That's the trippy part, too.
Because you think like we're already, because think about it, if you're walking past someone like how you said there's needs to be no verbal communication, as far as like if you think if technology was not a thing at all, you would just see another human, and to know anything about them you'd have to like talk to them or observe them or something like that for a long
Right.
period of time
Yeah.
to like figure out who they are. But nowadays you can just recognize someone, and then like if you have them on Instagram or Facebook, you can just look at their profile for like an hour and kind of get a feel for who they are. You know, if you just like scroll through someone's Instagram for a minute, you can pick up on a few things and be like, oh, they're probably that kind of person. And like you can make judgments just based on a couple scrolls. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even
Yeah.
have to talk to
Yeah.
that person or ever make a conversation with them. And then if you think if we get a step further to where you don't have to do the searching and you don't have to do, and even aside from like relationship wise, just information, like how we Google something and then like within 30 seconds we can get the answer to pretty much any basic question, and in a couple minutes answers to more advanced questions. Imagine if there was no Google search involved.
Oh, yeah, there wouldn't be. Yeah.
Well, such and such, oop, it's this. I know that information. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah, and that's what Elon Musk was saying too on the Joe Rogan podcast was that like was yeah that a phone it's slowing information down because you have to search it in, just like me talking to you, like if I say to you, hey, how does it feel outside, you know, something can get lost in that translation, as opposed to me just thinking, how does it feel outside, in the forecast coming up, and then you know, the forecast coming up or the forecast coming up in your head and being like, oh, it's 90 degrees outside. Like, you would just know that I don't know. It's crazy, but dude, it's like this episode of Black Mirror. You ever seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. I don't know if you saw this episode, but it was like there was like they had like contact lenses or something. So like when you see someone on the street, you just like I think you like see them and it like scans them, and you know their like little profile pops up, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like, it's crazy though. I could see something like that happening for real.
Yeah, it's really weird to think
But
about.
but it would, I think, regardless of what happens, no matter of if it gets to a point where we don't have to communicate with each other verbally, there's always going to be people that don't want that. Obviously, I don't really want that. And then there's always going to be, like, it's always going to be congregated, you know? Like, it's always going to be for like the upper class, you know? Like, if that actually did get to a point where like you didn't have to talk and you just had like a nano chip in your brain or something, and you were just like super smart and could like have any answer, then like that's obviously going to cost money, you know, like unless it's world, like it's just part of the world and they're just planting them in babies, and like that's the generation from now on. But but yeah, you know, I mean, me personally, I'm not getting shit. I'm good, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
good on that, dude. I don't want nothing.
Yeah. But it's almost inevitable that it'll be a slow evolution to that, you know? Like if you think like yeah, maybe in like 50 years it would be it's a thing in the world, but only the upper class have it. Imagine 50 years after that. It'd be like once the like super high-tech phones and like tablets came out. At first they were super expensive and not everyone had them, and now it seems like almost everybody has some sort of tablet because they've become so like normal. And it might get to a point where
Mhm.
like 50 years down the road, 50 more years down the road, like all these technologies just advance to the point where they are every day, and everyone has that little scanner and access to information. I don't know, man. I don't want to think about it anymore.
I know I got too many cameras and shit on me right now to be
Like
thinking about
everything's
that.
being recorded. I'm just like, all right, let's just talk about like skateboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I got
Let's
news.
see.
I had my final doctor's appointment.
Did you?
Yeah, I met with him, and uh it was just like I thought it was. He was just basically giving me the official, like, you're good to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And because he just asked me, we sat down, he asked me what I've been up to as far as my knee goes. Like, what have I've been limiting myself to? What have I been giving myself access to? And I told him basically everything. I've even been skating here and there. And then he said, like, okay, we'll meet in 6 months from now just to make sure, like, your muscle growth, because the muscle atrophy still isn't fully uh, equal, but he said we'll meet in 6 months, but for now you're good to do whatever. The only thing he said though was he suggested, and I want to get your thoughts on this, he suggested that I wear my brace whenever I'm doing anything that isn't straightforward running, like if it's like sports, you know, where you're doing pivoting like football or soccer or something like that, or skateboarding obviously. He said he recommends wearing my brace for 6 more months.
Huh. Suck a fat one, doctor. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What kind of brace? What kind of race?
The
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 big
the, the
ass one?
mobile one that I had for the expensive ass one that I have, it's pretty light. It's light. I can skate in it. I have skated in it before, and it's really small. I have it right here next to me, but it's like fits pretty tight to my leg, and it's but I just don't. What I worry about is I'm gonna be, dude. He told me a year and a half is how long it'll take to get my muscles equal again, and I was like, bitch, bet. In that 6 months, my muscles will be back. That's why I'll take the brace off. I'm telling you what, like for real, give me 6 months. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, with that, like as I'm working out my leg and trying to get them equal and getting like my body back to equilibrium, I guess, as far as like landing goes, because I'm still like my instinct is to favor the hurt or the strong leg, you know. And so I don't think I should wear the brace all the time when I'm skating, you know, like because I don't want to get my body
Yeah.
too used to relying on that support, you know, like I want to be. I don't know, man. I think if I street skate, I'm definitely gonna wear it, and I'm not really gonna do any like stairs or anything for at least 6 more months. But I think while I'm still rehabbing my muscles, I shouldn't wear the brace all the time when I'm skating. I should give myself time off of it to like make my body remember this is what it feels like, just your joints, no support.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. That's what I had to do with my ankle. I mean, um yeah, wear my brace sometimes, and then like I said, even it got to the point where I wouldn't wear my brace and I would skate for like an hour until my ankle was just starting to hurt. And that continued for like months. I feel like a month and a half, 2 months until finally I could just skate for a long time without it hurting. So it was just a matter of building up that muscle.
Yeah, man. I had to cancel plans with Jake the other day. We were supposed to skate, and he's been kind of taking it like I'm just free to. I'm just like back to normal, like skate whenever I want, you know. But I've been like,
He's like, you want to hit? He's like asking you to hit street spots and
no,
shit.
yeah. He
That'd
wanted
be
to
funny.
skate the other day, and I just assumed he wanted to skate the driveway because I love skating the driveway. That's all I have been skating, and I haven't except the one time I went and like rode in the street for a little bit with the guys. But we skated the driveway when he got here, and he seemed kind of bummed. And I was like, sorry, dude, I'm just not trying to like go to a spot. You know what I'm saying? And then he hit me up to skate the other afternoon, and I had to just like message him and say, I'm sorry, but I don't really feel comfortable like pushing myself like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I want to. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
want to
makes
skate like
sense.
normal and skate a bunch of days of the week, but like, I got to pace myself, you know?
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah. Anyways, it's been another 20 minutes. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, while we're dealing with this camera thing, yeah, that's probably good. That's
Quick
probably good. We
question.
talked about
As we wrap
we
it
talked
up,
about what's that?
as we wrap it up, I just got a question for you to tie it into the outro. Where do you want to take the podcast through all of this? What do you want to start doing starting next week?
Starting next week.
Like, what are some things we could
What?
start working on, dude? Speak it into existence.
City of Palms podcast started next week. Well, I think we can start.
Zoom chat interviews?
I think we could try, yeah, for now. Yeah, because really my priority is getting back. My main priority that I was trying to think of was how I could get back to your studio, but realistically, even the guests might not want to do that, so the Zoom call, the Zoom chat interview or whatever talks would be ideal. And I think that's one thing we could start. If you're listening, watching this, comment or DM us on Instagram. Who you'd like to see us have a Zoom chat with. We're thinking more like for the Zoom chat stuff, like what we talked about. We're thinking more just like 10-minute things, maybe just like 10-20 minute quick conversations. Yeah, just something for the masses.
For sure. Where can they find us at, dude?
They can find us at City of Palms Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts. We got podcasts coming at you every week, and yeah, I don't know exactly, how what else we'll do. Because I'd like to still continue with it'd be hard, but if when possible, and I don't know if this can happen next week, but ASAP I want to continue with the freestyles we were doing
Yeah.
on Sorn's beats, so um I want to do that. And also, I don't know if I should say this on air or not. I'm just going to um about the ads too. You remember the companies, like I was going to reach out to the companies, and then like every company shut down. So that was like, that's cool. But you know, like right when you're about to reach out to companies, the world shuts down. You're like, oh, I guess not. I guess
You
not
guys
right now.
typed and you just had to hit send, and then it's like, oh, world's off. Oh man.
I know. So I was like, I guess I'll wait. Yeah, I think I told you, but yeah, I'm gonna start. I want to start doing that because I think I have a couple. I think I have a couple businesses in mind that it could really that we could both benefit. You know, get some help. Yep. All right. Well. Yep. Find us. Listen to the podcast we got every Monday. Listen to podcasts we got every Monday. Thank you. All right, it's late. I'm tired. It's been a fun one. I did that pose. I don't know if you could see it in your camera, but you can see it in the camera. I did that pose for a solid minute. All right, yeah. It's been fucking real. Yeah, I'm going to bed. All right, thank you for watching, listening, viewing,
Until
subscribing.
next week.
If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hit him with that outro, Soren.